Fidson started in 1995, 1st of March to be precise. At the time we started, we were basically 2 pharmacists and maybe 8 other staff. So we were, on the whole, 10 staff, in March 1995. But by the time we were getting to about December 1995, we were, almost 40. One of the earliest challenges was essentially that we could not find suitable skills, in the young people that were available, to take some of the challenges that we were throwing at them. But we got it right. And we're surviving. We're not only surviving, we're growing bigger every year. Fidson basically crossed the Rubicon in 1998. 1995 was good. 1996 became challenging because we got hungrier and we began to set lofty targets for ourselves. Of course, a business that started with 5 million naira needed more money at that point. I then had to sell some of my assets, some of my very critical assets, in order to commit more money into the business. By 1998, we had gone up to about 18 million naira. So slowly but surely, in spite of the fact that, money is always a critical thing in any business, it became a lot easier to run the business from 1998. We have crossed several milestones. I would say the first one was essentially deciding to own our own brands and develop our own brands, market them such that we grow brand equity for ourselves and not for somebody else that we are distributing for. That was a critical milestone, right? The second milestone, of course, was manufacturing. We went in that direction and it's paid off, largely for the brand Fidson. The third milestone, of course, was making a judgment on whether it should remain a private company closely held by the family and my colleagues that we started up the company with. Taking the company public, right, was a very critical milestone. It improved our own ability to manage the business well in terms of corporate governance and all of those governance issues that ensures sustainability of a company into the future. Fidson started as a family business, and those gentlemen, 3 of them that started with me in 1995, precisely Ademola Adeoti, Biola Adebayo, and Olugbenga Olayiyi, then became shareholders in the company. I would believe in the year 2000. But come 2007, we opened up the company more to investors. We did a private placement, right, that brought in about 3.5 billion. June 2008, we went public. The company got listed on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and of course, the shareholders base, expanded. The board is primarily responsible for where we have reached today because they superintend over the strategy, fine-tuning the vision, fine-tuning the mission and what have you. They have played the role of ensuring that they are the custodian of value for the investing public. We've got to get our succession planning right. We've got to get our strategic business plans, and then we have to clinically execute those plans to succeed. But more than all else, it all still boils down to getting the right human resource, right? So we have to be ready to invest in existing human resource, go out there and find people that are fit and built, study for the future, right? That can take us into the future. Now, in addition to all of this, it is that we as a people should continue to work with other stakeholders within the community of pharmaceuticals. Even though we are not the first indigenous company to go public, we should also take the lead for the consolidation of the value chain that ensures that the consumer, the patient, right, gets qualitative drugs at affordable prices, and they get them safely and in a timely manner. For so long as we continue to provide those services, right, I am almost certain that any of our offerings will be bought by Nigerians. Nigerians have been highly supportive of our efforts. The next generation of managers in Fidson are today being trained. The next generation is taking over in finance and accounts, the supply chain, HR department, even sales and marketing, right? And the operations, which is the factory, have also been infused with young people in whom we are investing in their training. You know, whether it is sending them to Harvard Business School, whether it is sending them, to other countries to go and learn new ways of doing things. All of these are being handled by the next generation of Fidsonians, and I'm sure that from what I have seen, we're in good hands, such that when we retire, these guys will not only have acclimatized culturally, right, but they become an epitome of what Fidson stands for. The culture and the traditions of Fidson, right, will be ingrained in them, and they will carry it, to the next generation and to the next generation. Like the good book says, time and chance has happened to everybody that has succeeded, right? For Fidson, we came at the right time, and we had the right opportunities at the time we came. If we continue to be on top of our game, there is no challenge that we will not be able to surmount.
Since its inception in 1995, Fidson Healthcare plc has relentlessly pursued the goal of becoming the leading player in the West African pharmaceutical landscape. As a result, Fidson has been at the forefront of innovation in pharmaceutical manufacturing in Nigeria, pioneering the local production of much-needed healthcare solutions ranging from over-the-counter medication to proton pump inhibitors and antiretrovirals for HIV/AIDS. We engage a highly dedicated team that utilize processes in line with best global practices to deliver quality products and services. All because at Fidson Healthcare plc, we value life.
We have been on this issue now for 6 years. She has gone for tests. Uncle, honestly, I'm beginning to think this woman may be barren.
Have you ever considered going for a test?
Me, test. For what now?
Just go. Just go and hear what the doctor has to say.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Bai, the problem is you have low sperm count. But there is a solution.
There are several factors that can cause male infertility. All these factors may lead to low sperm count, poor sperm motility, and poor sperm share. Adizwa contains a unique formulation that aids the production of healthy sperm cells, thus improving the chances of fertility. Adizwa, the absolute man.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. Yeah, I fit to do anything, you know. I fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. Yeah, see me as a fresh. Now they ask me how would I do it. Like me, I say I still in the way. If for capsule, I'm for lipido. Yeah.
Repair and recover with Astamine.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. I fit to do anything, you know. I fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. Yeah, see me as a fresh. Now they ask me how would I do them. Like me, I say I still in the way. If for capsule, I'm for lipido. Yeah, I still in the way.
Boss, Chris, don't do. Hey, don't do.
I still in the way.
No, don't worry, I don't know this. Don't worry.
See me as a fresh. Now they ask me how would I do them. I still in the way. If for capsule, I'm for lipido. Yeah, I still in the way. I mean, no, I see that multivitamin. Yeah, I still in the way. The thing not for people when they do plenty work and plenty waka. I still in the way. It go give you energy, appetite for one.
Repair and recover with Astamine, a blend of amino acids and multivitamins.
check. Check, check, check.
Sestra once a day pregnant multi, a gentle non-constipating multi-nutrient formula for every woman before conception, during pregnancy and breastfeeding. Sestra, wellness naturally. Sestra once a day pregnant multi, a gentle non-constipating multi-nutrient formula for every woman before conception, during pregnancy and breastfeeding. Sestra, wellness naturally.
house. Ah, we are going to go ready. We are good at it. Bonnie, you understand what you read for that newspaper? I won't do that. Or I will use my... No problem. I know. We can start.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we all stand for the national anthem, please? Thank you very much. Please,
Amen. And God bless Nigeria.
please be seated. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, once again. If I have your permission to please. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to the 23rd Annual General Meeting of our company. As you all know, this meeting is by proxy in line with the guidelines of the Corporate Affairs Commission on the conduct of annual general meetings of public companies by proxies and the need to comply with the directives and regulations of the Federal Government of Nigeria, Lagos State Government, the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, on safety and health measures against COVID-19 pandemic. The votes of members by proxy shall be counted in addition to those cast at the meeting on each resolution. I would now like to call on the registrars, Meristem Registrars and Probate Services Limited, to please confirm the total number of valid proxies received in accordance with the law.
Just speak to it. Just speak.
You can take it out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the start of the meeting, we have a total of 451 shareholders' proxies, amounting to 958,630,116 units of Fidson shares, which is about 45.95% of the total shareholding of the company. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now call on the company secretary to confirm the quorum for this meeting.
I confirm that the quorum for this meeting has been met in excess of the 20 required by the company's articles of association. Thank you.
Thank you very much, company secretary. Please note that the meeting having been duly convened and properly constituted, I hereby declare the meeting open. May I call on Prince Omojola to please say the opening prayer.
In Jesus' name. Amen. Father, we thank you for the grace to be alive. We thank you for the opportunity of being here today to deliberate on the affairs of our company, Fidson PLC. We thank you for the protection on board members, management, and staff. We equally thank you for sparing the life of shareholders. We thank you for being in charge of the Nigerian economy where we operate. We now solicit for more protection, guidance, and your counseling, which has seen us to this moment. We ask you to be the chairman of the occasion. We ask you to guide us in this meeting so that at the end of the day, we have cause to glorify your holy name. And this and more we ask in the name of the Almighty Jehovah. Amen. Thank you for answered prayer.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. I would like to request that those moving motions, those seconding motions put to the meeting, and those making comments or asking questions should speak clearly into the microphone. Before speaking, kindly commence by stating your name. There will be opportunity for questions and comments. I wish to appeal to each speaker to be brief. Also, please raise your right hand when voting to make counting easy. The registrars are here. I would like to inform you all that the Register of Directors Holdings and the Register of Attendance at board meetings are available for inspection during the course of this meeting in compliance with Section 284, subsection 2 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and the rules of corporate governance, respectively. The profiles of our directors are contained in the published accounts, which have earlier been circulated. In full compliance with the social distancing rule, the managing director and I are the only directors physically present at this meeting. Other directors are joining us virtually. Permit me, therefore, to recognize them and the company secretary, starting with the managing director, Dr. Fidelis Ayebe, the pioneer managing director and chief executive officer, who is to my immediate right and physically present. Mr. Emmanuel Imwageni, non-executive director, who is also appearing on the screen. Mrs. Olufumilola Ayebe, non-executive director, also appearing on the screen. Mrs. Aishatu Pamela Sadauki, OON, independent non-executive director, showing on the screen. Dr. Vincent Ahohai, independent non-executive director, also showing on the screen. Mr. Equidife Okoli, independent non-executive director, also showing on the screen. Mr. Olubenga Olayeye, strategy and marketing director, also showing on the screen. Mr. Abiola Adebayo, operations director, also on the screen. And Mr. Ola Ijimaki, commercial director, showing on the screen. To my immediate left is Mr. Yomi Adebanjo, the company secretary. I am Shegun Adebanji, the chairman of your company. Thank you very much. Also in attendance are the representatives of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Mr. Bonaventure, you're welcome, and the Corporate Affairs Commission also observing virtually. We also have a representative from SEC, with the name, Mr. Ibrahim is also representing SEC. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. The shareholder representatives of the Statutory Audit Committee are physically present, namely Chief Matthew Akinlade, FCA, Mr. Sunday Solomon Akisoya, you're welcome, and Alhaji Kabir Babatunde Sauni. You're all welcome. The directors' representatives on the audit committee are Mrs. O. Ayebe and Mr. E. Mwageni. I now call on the secretary to read the notice convening the meeting. Company secretary. Oh, I believe our auditors are also here. Oh, forgive me. I should have introduced our auditors too. Right. Registrars, You're also welcome. Please accept my apologies for the omission. I hope you will still pay the dividend. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I recognize them. Please go ahead.
Notice of the 23rd Annual General Meeting. Notice is hereby given that the 23rd Annual General Meeting of Fidson Healthcare PLC will hold on Thursday, the 28th of July 2022 at the Conference Center, 2nd floor, Fidson Towers, 268 Ikorodu Road, Obaniko Road, Lagos, at 10 a.m. to transact the following businesses. Ordinary business. To lay before the meeting the audited accounts for the year ended 31st December 2021, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee thereon. To declare a dividend of 50 kobo per 50 kobo ordinary shares, amounting to a total of 1,043,180,125 naira only. To re-elect Mr. Olusegun Adebanji, who is aged over 70 years as a director, pursuant to sections 261 and 282 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, special notice having been given, and to re-elect other directors who are due for re-election. To authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, to disclose the remuneration of the managers of the company, to elect members of the audit committee in accordance with section 404 subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, and to also consider the following special business. To consider and if thought fit, to pass the following as an ordinary resolution: issuance of bonus shares. That in line with the recommendation of the Board of Directors and to comply with the provisions of Section 124 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and Regulation 13 of the Companies Regulations 2021, with respect to the company's unallotted shares, a bonus issue of 1 new ordinary share of 50 kobo for every 10 ordinary shares held as at the close of business on the 8th of July 2022, and totaling 208,636,025 ordinary shares be and are hereby issued to rank pari passu in all respects with the existing ordinary shares of the company. And that in furtherance of the above and pursuant to section 430 subsection 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the sum of 104,318,012 naira 50 kobo only standing to the credit of the share premium account be and it is hereby applied for the bonus issue, and that the directors be and are hereby authorized to allot any outstanding amount of shares after the bonus issue, whether by way of employee share scheme or in any manner as they may deem fit for consideration that shall be fixed by them, and that the directors be and are hereby authorized to do all things necessary to give effect to the allotment with the relevant regulators by way of registration and or listing. To fix the remuneration of directors. To consider and if thought fit, to pass the following as an ordinary resolution: that pursuant to Rule 20.8 of the Rule Book of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, NGX 2015, issuers rules, the general mandate given to the company to enter into recurrent transactions with related parties for the company's day-to-day operations, including, amongst others, the procurement of goods and services on normal commercial terms, be and is hereby renewed. There were notes concerning proxy stating that any member entitled to attend and vote at the AGM is entitled to appoint a proxy to attend and vote in his stead. Thank you very much. Yeah. By order of the board, J.A. Adebanjo, Company Secretary. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Company Secretary. The chairman's statement was circulated together with the published accounts. May I please have your permission to take it as read? Thank you very much. We now proceed to the agenda of the day, and I shall be moving the motions and then asking a shareholder here present to second it before putting it to votes. The votes already cast by proxy shall be added to those cast by those in attendance here, and the registrar shall announce the votes on each business before I declare the results. I now lay before you, we have the accounts. The audited accounts for the year ended 31st December 2021, together with the reports of the directors, auditors, and the audit committee. I now call on the representative of the auditors, Deloitte & Touche, Mr. Chigozie Okoro, to please present the auditor's report, which was circulated to all members along with the report and financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2021. Mr. Okoro, please.
The Chairman, distinguished members of Fidson Healthcare PLC, my name is Chigozie Okoro, representing Deloitte & Touche, and I also serve as the engagement partner responsible for the audit. Before I proceed with the audit opinion, I would like to first express my gratitude to you for giving us the opportunity to serve, and also appreciate the board and management for the support we got in the course of our audit, which made our work seamless. We're very grateful. Our audit opinion can be found on pages. Thank you, sir. Our opinion can be found on pages 37 to 39. And in recognition of what the elder statesman has said, I also want to encourage your indulgence to read paragraphs 1, 2, and the last paragraph. I hope that's acceptable. Thank you. Independent auditors report to the shareholders of Fidson Healthcare PLC report on the audit of the financial statements. We have audited the financial statements of Fidson Healthcare PLC set out on pages 5 to 17. This page referenced here is on the signed accounts, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2021, the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity and cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the company for the year ended 31st December 2021, and its financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, the requirements of Companies and Other Matters Act, and Financial Reporting Council Act 2011. Can we go to page 39, please? The last paragraph. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the 5th schedule of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, we expressly state that, 1, we have obtained all the information and explanation which to the best of our knowledge and belief were necessary for the purpose of our audit. The company have kept proper books of accounts so far as appears from examination of those books. Lastly, the company's financial position and its statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts and returns, signed by Chigozie Okoro on behalf of Deloitte & Touche. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Okoro. I now call on the chairman of the Audit Committee, Chief Matthew Akinlade, to present the report of the committee.
Hello. Hello?
So, can you please help?
Right. Please. The chairman. Sorry about all this. The chairman, board members, regulatory authorities here present, my colleague, shareholders, good morning. My name is Matthew Akinlade. I read the audit committee report as you have it on page 31. In the course of the financial year 2021, the statutory audit committee of Fidson Health Care PLC met 5 times, as illustrated in the table below. Our terms of reference include, but are not limited to, the following. 1. Assist in the oversight of the integrity of Fidson Healthcare PLC's financial statements, compliance with legal and other regulatory requirements, assessment of qualifications and independence of external auditor, and performance of the company's internal audit functions, as well as that of external auditors. 2, ensure the development of a comprehensive internal control framework for the company, obtain assurance and report annually in the financial report on the operating effectiveness of the company's internal framework. 3, oversee management's process for the identification of significant fraud risks across the company and ensure that adequate prevention, detection, and reporting mechanisms are in place. 4, discuss the annual audited financial statements with management and external auditors. 5, discuss policies and strategies in respect to risk assessment and management. 6, review and ensure that adequate whistleblowing procedures are in place and that a summary of issues reported are highlighted to the board. 7, review with the external auditors any audit scope, limitations, or problems encountered and management responses to same. In addition, to review the independence of external auditors and ensure that where non-audit services are provided by the external auditors, there's no conflict of interest. 8, preserve auditors' independence by setting clear hiring policies for employees or former employee of independent auditors. 9, invoke its authority to investigate any matter within its terms of reference, for which purpose the company must make available the resources to the internal auditors with which to carry out these functions, including access to external advice where necessary. Consequently, in accordance with the provisions of Section 404, subsection 4, and subsection 7 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the members of the Statutory Audit Committee of Fidson Healthcare PLC hereby report that we have exercised our statutory functions under the Act, and we acknowledge the cooperation of the management and staff in the discharge of these responsibilities. Specifically, we confirm that 1, the accounting and reporting policies of the company are consistent with the legal requirements and ethical practices. 2, the internal audit programs are extensive and provide a satisfactory evaluation of the efficiency of the internal control systems. And 3, we have considered the independent auditor's post-audit report and management responses thereon, and are satisfied with responses to our questions as well as the state of affairs of Fidson Healthcare PLC. Signed by me, Matakinlade, on the 23rd of March 2022. Other members of the committee are, please, when I call your name, stand up for recognition. Alhaji Abdulkadir Sarumi. Mr. Solomon Sunday Akinsanya. Mrs. Olufumilola O. Ayebe. I believe she's watching online. And last and not the least, Mr. Emmanuel Imuagene. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Akinlade. Thank you very much. As copies have been circulated to you in advance, I hereby lay before this meeting the Director's Report, the Statement of Financial Position, together with the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2021. The Managing Director and I will be pleased to answer questions and listen to comments which you may have on the report and the financial statements before we proceed to the next item of business. It would help us to properly address your questions if you would refer to the page of the report and the accounts to which your question or comments relate. I'd like to start first from the left. And ladies first, Mrs. Bisi Bakari, and then I'll come to the right, and I see Nona Awo is there. So, no, we'll start from somewhere. First to the left, right, and then we'll go to the back. So, Madam, and then Nona. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, regulatory authorities here present, Thank you. Mr. Chairman, Board of Directors, regulatory authorities here present this morning, my co-shareholders, good morning. My name is Mrs. Bisi Bakari. I'm the National Coordinator of Pragmatic Shareholders Association of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, firstly, I want to thank our board. Why am I thanking you? Because any annual report we open, we see declaration of dividend. Shareholders always happy with such company. We appreciate our company and we hope the trend will continue. Having said that, I will go straight to page 10 of the annual reports and accounts where we have our results at a glance. Actually, as an investor, when we open this page and we see everything positive, what we need to do is to close our annual report and just say, go ahead. But as Oliver Twist, we want... But as a shareholder, we still have one or two things to say. On that note, I want to commend the board and management for the growth in our revenue by 69% from 18.3 billion to 30.9 billion. and also the growth in our profit after tax by 209% from 1.2 billion to 3.6 billion. Please let us appreciate this board for a wonderful. Also, our retained earnings also grew by 70% from 4.6 billion to 7.8 billion. Our shareholders' funds also grew by 30%. This result was achieved despite difficult and challenging operating environment where we operated. We really appreciate it. It's highly commendable. And like I said earlier, I hope that the management will keep it up. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, I also commend our company for the increase in our return on average equity, which increased from 11.95% to 26.04%. This has been happening for the past 9 years. I say kudos to the board and management for this great achievement. Page 12. Page 12, that is on chairman's statement, dividend and bonus issue. We really appreciate you, Mr. Chairman, and your team. You gave us 50 kobo from previous year of dividend of 25 kobo. That is a jump of over 100%. We appreciate it. May God Almighty continue to strengthen the entire board. In addition to that, Mr. Chairman, we are also getting bonus of 1 for 10. Abba, thank you very much. We are most grateful. Page 60. Page 60, administrative expenses. For me, I don't have anything against your expenses because we are all Nigerians. We are aware of the inflations. But I just have 1 or 2 comments here. That is on our diesel and fuel. It's just an advice for the board. I don't know the step our company is taking to convert some of our energy to solar inverter. I believe with that, it will reduce what we spent on diesel and fuel. Of course, for the installation, it might be expensive, but later on, we will enjoy it. Secondly, I saw something here. It's not clear to me. I just need a clarification here. That is bank administrative fee of 154.4 million from 52.6 million. I just need a clarification. Is it a bank charges or what? If yes, 102 million increase in 1 year is on the high side. Second to the last, in order to give my colleagues opportunity also. I would like to ask that what has been the result of production partnership with GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Nigeria for the local production of healthcare products? Secondly, or lastly, how committed is our company in meeting the pharmaceutical needs of Nigerians and offering customers the highest healthcare products and services? Once again, thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As we said, Nona, the floor is yours, and then we'll go back to the back and then back to the left. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
The chairman, other members of the board, very distinguished fellow shareholders, including our members who are joining us virtually. Mr. Chairman, when you called Mrs. Bisi Bakari first, and I said, Chairman has run into a trap. No, I'm not jealous. If I was jealous, I would have gone to the ladies, just like the chairman of the audit committee did before he came for this meeting. But Mr. Chairman, speaking seriously, one of the things I've learned being around ladies is the fact that they constantly make efforts to renew. If they are not using underlayer, they are using overlayer. If they are not using overlayer, they are using middle layer, but all with the intention of getting better. So when I also saw in the inside cover of this account, and it says, never an accident, which means that even when things happen, they don't happen by accident. Even accident itself does not happen by accident. You plan for accident to happen. And that itself led me to what I think that we should be doing going forward. So all I will be raising will be around where we need to use underlayer where necessary. And if we need to use overlayer, I will also mention it. In that regards, Mr. Chairman, I will be hoping that looking at page 15 to 18, which is where we have the profile of directors, that it will be important that we also state the dates of appointment. I know that the answer that you are likely to give is to refer me to page 19. But very many times, when people are looking for information, one of the first two places they go to is the strength and character of the board. And that itself will include the days they were appointed. So going forward, let us be consistent. Some were mentioned, some were not mentioned. The second area that I'll also be hoping that the company will be looking at runs around the CSR policy. If you look at page 20, what you will find is that it is not too clear as to what the policies are. And I'm not taking it just from what is being published this year, is to also look at the trend. So I'll be hoping that there will be policy around our CSR, which will also include donation. But much more importantly, the disclosure process will be slightly different from what we are doing now. I say this because if you also remember, the first speaker asked a question around what is our efforts with the manufacturing contracts all about. So not only are we looking at ourselves, other persons are also looking at us, and very many times you begin to attract interest from outside the local environment. So don't let us play local in terms of disclosure. This, for me, is important. And it's in that light that I will also be hoping on page 21. The shareholder ranges that you have there, again, haven't done elementary statistics. The range 100,000 to 1 million is rather clumsy, looking at what is after and what is before. So going forward, I also hope that there will be fleshing of that component of the report. Similarly, if you look at page 23 and beyond, and then you look at the committees of the board, and then the spread of responsibility, you also will find that it's also a challenge. And the challenge is one that of the 30 slots available to all the committees, you find a range of one person serving on only 2 committees and one person serving in 5 committees. That itself, no. And that must also be taken in conjunction with the fact that as the chairman of the board, you also sit on committees. It has its own implication, because when the committees finish their report, they bring it to the full board, and then having served subcommittee, and then you come and take decision, there's a conflict, some level of conflict. Because even as the chairman of the board, once reports are made, that doesn't stop you from making your suggestion. So it's something that I think that we also need to look at going forward. Mr. Chairman, you've had people applaud the board, and very many persons who are here who have been applauding you as shareholders. But if you look at page 92 to 107, it's good that we've published the unclaimed dividend. But if you then relate that to what we have on page 76, we had a situation where unclaimed dividend had done more than 250% jump. And even in the current year, we had a situation where 49 million is also another challenge. So we need to take a proactive position as to what to do with unclaimed dividend. I'm not sure what our structure is, but I will expect that we'll have somebody in-house who will be investor relation focused, even if he has other attachments in terms of responsibilities. It's something that we also need to work at. Because now that the dividends are hitting the 50 kobo region, the chances are high that the unclaimed dividend is also get fattening, as if we have put them in Calabar fattening room. So we need to begin to do something before they become too fat. Mr. Chairman, I'm happy that Mrs. B.C. Bakari talked about the growth in the bottom line, which itself is reflected in the earnings, as indicated on page 85. But if you look at page 84, my interest will be what can we do much more. She didn't mention the challenge of foreign exchange when she was identifying, but what we can do much more to further improve the local component of our raw material. Because looking at page 84, you'll find that the local component in the year under review almost doubled, which for me is an indication that should that trend continue, the pressure in we having to look for non-available foreign currency may also be less. So I'll be hoping that something will be said around that. And in that line, I'll also be hoping that the push when it comes to the ethical drugs will also be further intensified. Because looking at this account, yes, there was a slight drop relative to cost of sales, but the margin for ethical drugs are usually higher. And interestingly, the local manufacturing in Nigeria is much more towards OTC. So the more we can also begin to move to the more technical area of manufacturing of drugs, that itself will help to improve our margin. So that we don't come in here next year and the question will be, why are you paying us less than 50 kobo? Don't forget all the applause that you have gotten so far. This group of men and women, if they were to take middle name that would be common to all of them, it would be Oliver. It will be Oliver. And some of them will even add twists raised to power 2 as things progress. So it's important that we begin to take good care of this. But Mr. Chairman, I also think that two major legs of our operation needs much more attention. The first one has to do with how we, going forward, manage debt profile. Unfortunately for us as a people, as a nation, most of the things that we need for pharmaceutical production are going to be imported. So that will put pressure in terms of funding. But it's important that we constantly look at that. Yes, you are again likely to tell me that our gearing has dropped from 48 to 45. But I think it's something that you must not let your eyes off the ball. Because if we didn't have the government-assisted borrowing, the situation would have been very different. Okay? So it's something that we mustn't let go all the time. And the second one that I also think that we mustn't let go has to do with the size of receivables. Looking at page 60 and 67, we find a situation where they don't make table water, they make cup syrup. You are not current. With receivables already at almost 3 billion. and 335 million being written off in the year is also an indication that we need to watch it. Because if we had 50% of the 335 that was written off, and we decide to apply it to even the dividend, I'm sure the story will have been different. So it's important that we begin to also look around. Yes, I know that as a manufacturing concern, in drugs, you can't afford to see people must do cash and carry, especially for the non-ethical OTC product. But I'm sure that there are things that we can work around. But I'm also hoping that this is not largely owing that is coming in from government institutions. Mr. Chairman, let me close my position on what I find on page 7. On page 7 says that you'll be seeking re-election. And when you then look at that to what you have on page 11, and I'll tell you that I shared it with my baby. And one of the things she said, I said, you are 70 already. See. He then said, Daddy, who is that? And I said, come and see. He said, no, it can't be 70. So what I did was to take this annual account, went to a business center not far from my place. I did the color photocopying of this annual account, since your picture was in colored. And when the picture arrived, they said, Daddy, this man cannot be 70. And I said, you know why? That the man does not eat what you eat. He eats continental. He said, Daddy, what do you mean by continental? I said, I can assure you that he eats European food. And when he has the opportunity, he eats West Africa, whether Nigeria or Ghana. But where he is also not having all of the two earlier available, he goes to East Africa and South Africa. Do you eat such things? He said, no, Daddy. I said, that is the problem. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Nona. So we are going to the side here. Yeah, and then we'll come to the lady, and then Chief Boniface will come to you. No. Thank you. From here, lady, and then you'll have your time. Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our Honorable Chairman. And my name is Tunjiba Midele. My name is Tunjiba Midele. I'm the National President of Starlight Shareholder Association of Nigeria, member of G8 Shareholder in Africa. I represent a professional investor as a proxy in this meeting today. Permit my chairman, let me start by appreciating you and our MD for the focus around the page 6 when you are studying the vision of this organization and mission and purpose. Majorly, my observation that how you need to touch life, because how many lives have you touched that it make them have a meaningful in this heart? Because that is the major issue the company standing on. Because anything pertaining to health need to stand with purpose of touching the life. How many lives this company have been saved? We really appreciate you for this product, and we pray God will continue and there will be more knowledge. I have another observation. There's a lot of imitation products in the town. What's management doing about this? Because a lot of products, even in the names, look alike. In the picture, look alike. I don't know. What are you doing about that? And how the NAFDAC and other people are assisting you, I mean the government of this country. There's one product, page 32. There's one product you place there where a lot of people are fee paying this time around. And the people are searching for that product everywhere. Please, I appeal to the board and management. Let the product be more available. Because people don't know what costs, but because God wants more our product to be marketable. That's why people are always fee paying here and there. You see, even a small girl, a small baby, we continue to say, back pain no, leg pain no. When you see a lot of people here, ask them how far. They will say now one leg pain, one back pain. Thank you, our chairman. Sir, I go through this report.
Please, let's try and keep it as brief as possible,
Yes.
so other people can have a chance. Please.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I have one or two things to call attention to. We always have a meeting here as a shareholder, and we go through the year. There's no picture of AGM in this report. It's a sense of belonging. Please, I will appeal to the board. Let it be there. Now, there's certain thing on the page 61, note 13, when you'll be able to compare the tax we paid last year and this year. Page 13, page 61, note 13. You know, we see the level of jump. As a professional, if you are not, I'm not advertising, you can engage us on issue like this. I think there will be like a reduction in tax paying to this nation. I appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. As I promised, the lady on the right, and then we'll go to the back.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry, we'll continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm standing on existing protocol. My name is Barrister Adetutu Shiobola. I am the president of Highly Favored Shareholders Association. Mr. Chairman, I have some observations, comments, questions, and suggestions on Fidson Healthcare PLC's 2021 annual report. Please, with your kind permission, I will quickly run through them. Quickly. So, on page 10, results at a glance. I just want to give you my observation on that.
So, sorry,
Because
madam.
I know.
Can I crave your indulgence?
Yes, sir.
Where the issues have already been raised, I'd
Yes.
appreciate if you could focus on additional issues.
That is
Yes, so
what
that-
I'm trying to do. I want to skip
Excellent.
some things there. Just tell you my observation.
Thank you so
That's-
much. Thank you.
that's just it. On that page 10, results at a glance, I observed that we have an excellent performance in the year under review. Because all the indices are in progression, I will seize this opportunity to give kudos to the board and management for the job well done and implore them to do more as an Oliver Twist. On page 12, though that one too has been spoken about, but I have a different view. Being an Oliver Twist that I am, though that 50 kobo dividend is commendable, but I will have appreciate it if it is 1 naira, because hello, because, but that amount is commendable, but it is not enough, considering the fact that our earnings per year in the year under review is more than triple. So it will have been better if the board proposed a dividend of 1 naira. So on page 15 to 18, from page 15 to 18, the beautiful faces and the profile of our board of directors, I observe that we have only 2 ladies in the board, which amounts to 20%. This is unacceptable on gender balancing. We have to improve on it going forward. On page 20, item 9, directors' interest. I observe that 8 directors out of 10 listed have our shares attached to their names directly or indirectly in the year under review. This is commendable. Please keep it up. On the same page 20, item 12, substantial interest in shares. I observe that we have 2 major shareholders and minority shareholders in our company. I would like to know who is representing Stanbic IBTC nominee and the minority shareholders in our board. Because the minority shareholders own 35.47% of our shares. When I marry the corporate social responsibilities on page 20, with the explanation given on page 33 to 35, I observe that our CSR in the year under review centered on health, education, and social welfare. Next time, we should extend it to youth empowerment and community development. On page 26 and 27, attendance at board meetings and board committee meetings is good, but can be better. On page 43, statements on financial position. Trade and other receivables under current assets went up from 2.7 billion naira to almost 3 billion naira in the year under review. So also prepayments also went up from 296.3 million naira to 1.4 billion naira in the year under review, which is commendable. What are the modalities in place to recover the shortfall from our customers to the barest minimum, so that it will not end up as bad debts that will be written off? Trade and other payables under current liabilities also went up from 2.2 billion naira to 4.4 billion naira in the year under review. How do we intend to pay this to our creditors? On page 60, note 8, administrative expenses. I only have one question on that line, which is on printing and stationery. It went up astronomically from 24.6 million naira to 115.7 million naira in the year under review. This is huge. Why? When other companies are going paperless? And I also observed that we have used this annual report judiciously to advertise all our products. This is commendable. Please keep it up. Thanks, and God bless you richly for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. We'll take just a second. We'll take one here, and then I think after that we'll come to the back, please. Please. Can you please, indulge us to take it methodically, please? Yeah.
Sit down, please.
Hold on, sorry.
Sit down.
Thank you. And I will crave your indulgence that after Mr. Boniface, we take 3 more and we'll finish, please. Otherwise, we'll be here forever.
Please, hands down.
Yes,
hands down. Please.
We will come to the back. I assure you that we'll come to the back. So, Mr. Boniface, please. Yeah.
The chairman of Fidson Healthcare PLC, our able managing director, company secretary, and other directors who are joining virtuals, and the fellow distinguished shareholder present and virtuals. Good morning. My name is Okezie Boniface, the national chairman of Progressive Shareholders of Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, I'm delighted to be here to greet this celebration. Because why? This company have been a listening board. For no other thing, that improvement in dividend payout, 50 kobo is not easy to come by. On the comatose economy of the nation that's not performing. Companies are not operating from heaven. We are here on earth, most especially in Nigeria, where things are not going forward. We are backward. But then the company operate and come out to pay dividend, and also plus bonus, should be applauded, should be commended. That's why I can take pleasure in say, how do you spend? We have almost 30 billion earning. We spend less than 6 billion operation or running there and that. That's not much. Considering the cost of doing business in Nigeria, it's not an easy to come by. Mr. Chairman, even despite that, you increase employment of people when others are retrenching and sending to the labor market. We have an increase on employment. Mr. Chairman, which is, we can see at page 10, 478 as against 405. Unemployment. Mr. Chairman, that also increased on expenditure when it put them together. So what you spend also have gone up. Because you could have been downsized. During the COVID, you were still on COVID period. An increase. So Issue of hiring of expenditure, what you spend also increase. A whole lot of things. Maintenance of the factory. Mr. Chairman, I think the management have been prudent in what I'm seeing here today. They need to comment. Yes, like Oliver Twist, 178 earning. I mean, yes. We should have also paid maybe 78 kobo or 70 kobo. But I'm hoping and believing, despite the hardship, despite the downturn in the economy, that this year, financial year end, going to end 31st December 2022, we should be able to pay 1 naira. God willing. And God will help us. Amen. And it's doable. We can't pay for 50 kobo and you go backward. No, God forbid that. So even if it not come to 1 naira, but we must leave at least 70 kobo to go from next year by God's grace. I know my brother will do it because he has given the other tax to pilot affairs. He will do that because it can't go less. You must go up. So I can't overtax you. You are doing very well. The company is doing very well. I want to commend our stars. Somebody spoke about imitations in the market today. But since existence of Fidson, I've not seen a adulterated product. Or anybody say, I bought Fidson, it's not Fidson. Or I break the tablets and something coming out from it. No. Our product is excellent in the market. And when you buy them, and that's why people insist as to me, I'm going for it. People go for it. Ciprotab is non-panon. It's an excellent of its own. And when you use it for antibacterial or in the body, it cleans it. Including ciprofloxacin, 500 milligrams. They are all good, excellent. Which can go outside the counter and get it. You know? So our product is excellent, Mr. Chairman. We should keep it up. And today, I don't know what World Health is doing. They should give us the final license to manufacture and export to West Africa and Central Africa. We can reach the market. Instead of this incur of dollar losses. Because most of our raw material comes abroad. That's why we incur dollar loss and that kind of things. You know. I can't blame. Today is about 710. Because when you even apply for the bank, CBA cannot give you direct. They refer to a commercial bank. And commercial bank have a limited resources. They don't have it. So you have to go to the black market. It will go high. So these are things we are seeing in this country. Those who need the forest will not have access to it. But politicians will have it and have their, their vote in their rooms. They will have the forest there. Now they are bringing out to compare. The manufacturers are suffering. They won't have to read, That's the degradation of the country we are today. I heard somebody say, God bless Nigeria. I say, the one God has blessed, he says, what do we do with it? Bless yourself and bless the company.
Please, let's try.
Mr. Chairman,
please.
I'm not going to waste your time.
Thank you.
Because you have done very well. Mr. Chairman, on donation, we can do more. I have to emphasize on that, We can do more better. Religious organizations, which have been issued in this country, health, hospitals, institutions, schools and communities, commendable. I know those who are operating are fighting altar. Community are there. I know the kind of places we have over there. We must be taken care of. As well as those who are within Banikuru, our head office. But also my community. I must be the first husband partaker of things, My community must also be remembered. If you say you should not give product, but how to affect my community, that I'm a member of Fidson Healthcare PSC, manufacturer of drugs, can give them some health center, we can donate. I have them. And that is why we should not be shortchanged. Mr. Chairman, we can't be coming here to speak. Our community back home must be remembered. Please. I have consequences where I live in. It's my community as well. I'm an elder there. I'm recognizing my community where I'm living in the state. So if product come to me to share to them the drugs, they will pray for the community. So, Mr. Chairman, look at us here. We can also give, and look after it. So, having said that, today is not a date of flogging issues. When the company have done, we'll commend them. And we'll go back home and they'll go back to the work. God bless all of us. Mr. Chairman, before I draw the microphone, I want to commend Deloitte. They are not like any other increasing arbitrarily. They still maintain that 14 they have previous year. That's not to say you should. That's why I'm asking them when my brother was doing all things. I say, have you served out your tenure? Because the way he was doing things, as if, their tenure is ending today, we are appointing. So they have done very well. I want to commend them for not increasing.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we'll take the gentleman at the back, very back, and then we'll come to Mr. Badmus. Yes. Just a moment, please. We are doing the very best we can, to attend to everybody. Just be patient, but please keep it short. And focus on only the additional comments. Otherwise, we'll be here for a long time.
Your Excellency,
thank you very
Mr.
much.
Chairman, the Managing Director and the members of the board who are joining us on the virtual proceedings, I say good morning. My name is Kazim Olaiwola. I reside in Kaduna, I work in Kaduna, I live in Kaduna. Mr. Chairman, going by this, will you withdraw that statement?
Please let us respect the decorum.
Let us be disciplined. Calling somebody a Boko Haram cause a war.
My apologies. Yes. Please, just continue. Please.
I understand you, sir.
And let us respect the decorum in this place. Thank you.
I took this report for some days ago in my post office box, and I want to commend the Maritime registrars for doing a wonderful job on this. However, when I studied the report, there is no point of going by the indices shown on the report. There is an indication of empirical method of statistics being displayed by the professionals. So I want to commend the company for this very good job. Well, what calls for a concern on the report as a question is the index on, note 24 on the Nexim Fidelity, CAPEX. I would like to ask the question.
Sorry, which page, please?
I'm referring to page 71, note 24, which calls for a concern to a layman like myself. I look at the difference of the money spent in 2020. I saw a sum of 149,900 naira, and I compared it with the 2021, expenses, which showed 400,000. So I want to request for the explanation of the difference. That's number one question, sir. Point number two, Mr. Chairman, the CSR has been commended upon. I mean the educational and professional development being spread across the country. But I looked at the report critically. I saw that you covered the north. May I humbly ask, is it the north central? Are you referring to the northwest? Are you telling us that the northeast is the one you have captured? I will be glad if you can mention the state. I'm not a police officer, but I'm an investigation personnel. Thank you. Another point, sir, the product of the company has been earlier, campaigned, or let me say, encouraged by Mr. Boniface. But let me do more encouragement for some of us who are here for the benefits of well-being. The product of Fidson should be encouraged to be used at home in offices. A benefit that I will just mention three for the sake of time. The metabolism of the CO2. When we say CO2, we mean carbohydrate in the scientific world. Is there for the product to counter. Number two, the microbial genetics in the field of molecular biology is very important to take care of when we are handling these products. And let me make an appeal. The quality control of the company should be upgraded. Because in the recent time, the World Health Organization, what they are campaigning for, is for people at the quality control department of any biomedical factory or institution to go for more training. I will implore this company to please encourage our personnel, at least to acquire adequate knowledge about our products. On the last note, Mr. Chairman, sir, I want to commend the Secretariat for a good, well-done job. Because at times for some of us who are inquisitive, we ask questions too much. I worked in the academic environment, and I know the benefit of asking questions, to seek further knowledge, and to develop yourself in any field you may find yourself. May I commend the efforts of the painstaking of the company secretary and the secretariat for attending to our clearing call at any particular time. I want to say thank you very much, and I extend my greetings to the staff entirely, those I know and those I don't know, that they should keep it up. When you work hard, there is a reward for hard work. That's what I know. And I pray for the chairman, your humble self, a man over 70, looking like 45. May God continue to strengthen you. You have been doing well for us, at least recognizing us. Once in a year, we meet once in a year. And I don't pray we stop meeting you. We should continue to meet you, meet the chairman, meet the company, meet the staff, and all stakeholders in this hall. On this note, can I take a bow and say thank you for your rapt attention?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kazim. Thank you. I promised that Mr. Badmus would have the floor, and then the last speaker will be the lady, and then we could wrap it up. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the privilege. My name is Tunde Badmus. Before I forget, I'll start from where my brother stopped. And again, apologize that he wouldn't be counted among the ones he mentioned, the other guy mentioned. He's an Omoluabi from Ibadan, and he's my brother. I know he wouldn't belong to those clans. And an academic guru at that. He's a PhD holder and a lecturer in a reputable university. Kazim Olayiwola, I greet you once again, my brother. And to buttress his point, he knows what he's saying. If he commends someone, commends a board or company, he knew his onions, not a riffraff. To start from where he stopped last, he mentioned Mr. Yomi Adebanjo.
Yes.
The guy is a performer, and without mincing words, I know he's up to the task and qualified for higher responsibilities whenever there is an opening. And we wouldn't mind if the board would look into it as soon as it is feasible. People like him, we often recommend them for corporate services. Executive director, corporate services. He can perform better. As soon as there's such a vacancy, kindly carry our brother along. Don't get hunt from outside. And I trust our funder. I trust the MD. He recognizes talents and qualities. He won't search elsewhere. As I always pray for him, he doesn't take us, our advices and opinion lightly, and he values us, despite being younger friends to him. And we always be there for him. And we always continue to support and show solidarity with him, and wherever his interest lies. And the same thing, you, Mr. Chairman, you are enjoying now. The man has paid his due, and don't be surprised that everybody was in a joyful mood, except for the man, my colleague that was over happy. I'm referring to Mazi Okeze. So I want to have commended you, and I'm sure you earned it. I wish you can do more, and I pray that our business environment will be better and more conducive for you to perform to the optimum. Well done, sir. On behalf of the board, accept my gratitude to the performance and appreciation. So, the audit committee too, they are commendable. And you can see that the quality of the people you have on board is not in doubt that they will perform and they will do it same for other companies, even multinationals and blue chips, like Fidson, because Fidson is apparently the market leader in its sector. I don't know which other company is beating Fidson to it. Imagine the payout. See the monetary value of the dividend now. You can see that I know what I'm talking about. We thank you, and Our professor here says we on our side were Oliver Twist, and he added Twist, Oliver Twist Squad. I'm sure you can do better, and we'll be glad to receive more. Thank you, sir. Being the best company among its peers, it's easier for people to counterfeit your products and fake them, which we consumers we often encounter. It is not your fault that the products are faked. It's a good trade that bears good fruits. You know how it attracts more stones, more truths. What I will encourage and suggest is that if we consumers, members of the public that buys too, if you can have a dedicated whistleblowing lines, like if I buy in my village and I suspect a fake, you trust me, I will raise alarm and it will reach you. The same thing applicable to others too. If they have such access, it will help us so that we cooperate and do the job together. I will also commend you for the efforts at CSR, which some people have mentioned. But look to what he was saying, my community. He didn't mention his community. May I now mention my own community in Ibadan? It will suffice. So remember my own community in Ibadan. And if addresses is needed, Mr. Adebanjo will contact me. I will supply the addresses and recommend like 1 or 2 health centers, especially the one in my village. I will save the time for others to contribute. I'm glad for this privilege. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we'll have the last speaker, the lady, please.
You like to become a lady next time you are coming.
Please, madam, please go ahead. Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my fellow shareholder, and those people watching on virtually. Sir, my name is Mrs. CEO Obide, National Coordinator of Ark of God Shareholder Association. My comment goes to page 17. We shareholder, we are so grateful. When in an AGM, annual report shows the type of company we have and our performance. There are some shareholders that you may like to advertise our company to, that we should buy the stock. Whenever they take this annual report, they can be rest assured that this is their performance. We've seen the profile. Thank you, Company Secretary, for giving us a good profile of all our directors. It's very important because of others that have not bought these shares. My second comment goes to page 21. In this country, some companies don't value disabled. But in our company, there are disabled there. And each staff feed 11 people in the family. And for our company to employ disabled, please let's clap for them. It's very important. My point is 91. Our new product for men. Sir, this product, yes, low sperm count. Yes, it's important. Most of our food that we are eating nowadays, there are many inferior, let me use it, and it's affecting males seriously. And this is a company that introduced these products. In fact, it's a great work. Is it under recommendation? What are what are the things you've put in place for doctors to know that we have? You know, in Nigeria nowadays, people think, let's do Jesus baby. And Jesus baby, you pay much. Some don't work. Some pay 800, some pay 2 million, and sometimes they go for 2, 3 times. And this is a product that can help What are the modalities that has been put in place? And the sales department, apart from hospitals, apart from medical, what are the advertisements that we have put in place for many people? People that don't have big phone, people that don't listen. I live in village. Sometimes no light. What are the advertisements? What are the things we've put in place? This thing is an important message. We have it. Some of our products, other pharmaceutical companies don't have it. Now, this period, we have so much cough. This because of the season. And I believe in your product more than other pharmaceutical companies. Mr. Nonawo was coughing. Maybe when we are going, we should add one cough mixtures to our product so that we can advertise. Because I love fixing products so much. And Mr. Nonawo has shown example of, he has left, but I'm coughing.
Please, let's allow the lady to round up. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sir, they were saying you are a young man, you look younger. Tell them to buy histamine. Histamine is the secret of our chairman. I told you last year and year before that histamine has a secret. Look at me, I'm using histamine. I've used mine before I arrived. So when you buy histamine, let other people know histamine work and make you look more beautiful, agile, and having serious strength like our chairman. Sir, the profile I referred to, you know, in Cornerstone, you were there day before yesterday. When people take our annual reports, the only thing you did not put is picture of people that attended your AGM. So, if you do that next year, it will make it complete annual report, because other things that other company has not done, you have done it. So we are so grateful. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. I recognize that I haven't, there was one particular speaker I didn't give a chance to. Mr. Mojola, please take the floor, but please focus on the additional comments so that we can save on time. Thank you very much, Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for the valuable addition of those that influenced the chairman to call me. I've led off 4 other meetings this morning to come here. And if you don't call me, I feel very bad. But thank God for the opportunity. I will not repeat what others have said. I've seen, you can see what I wrote down. There are so many, but I'll skip many of them. Let me first of all appreciate the beauty of God. Hold on now, you called my name twice. I am Prince Dr. Antonio Moni Mojola, your evangelist. Thank you. Let me start from the appreciation of God for being alive. And thank God for saving all of us, the board, the management, and those of us who are physically here. On the chairman's statement, it has never been too good. And of course, the chairman's statement captures the essentials. If I must mention, inflation is still growing, he mentioned it. The unemployment at 35%, I don't know whether it's not more than 40% now. Even the farmers are joining the employment market because of insecurity. They don't allow them to work. Welfare for staff, good. Thank you for doing that. And the issue we have has to be a continual review and growth plans. It should be a continuous one so that we can maintain the standard and quality of products desired. And of course, trying to meet the World Health Organization standard. So I thank you for doing this. And of course, the volume of our products has increased. And one person spoke to the issue of imported materials. If you can grow the local ones, you can assist those who are the source, so that the future will be better. It will be a welcome development. I want to mention the fact that we have chain losses of 2.27 billion on pages, mentioned pages 45, 60, and 61. I don't know what has brought this. I know we do import, and I do mention something on value-added page, which is 83. Our import, the version is a little more than the local materials. Maybe, like I said, if you can do something to improve on the local one, then the implication of the foreign exchange issue will be less. So I also look at that our revenue doubled on pages 59 and 60. This is welcome, and most people have said something about it. I don't want to repeat, but I look at pages 71 and 72. I found out that our loans and interests are gradually being lowered. So I want you also to keep it up, please. Very, very important, so that we don't work for the bank. We should work for ourselves. And without necessarily repeating what they said about our net earning and the returns, of course, at a net of 178, we are paying 50 kobo. We see our 128 up. We know the cost of sustaining ourselves is high, but at the same time, we have to be balancing the issue. A little to the left, a little to the right. We appreciate the bonus and the 50 kobo. Having said this, I want to ascribe finally to our representation on the board, minority shareholders. Look onto this side so that one of us is picked to represent us there. There will be more confidence in the board when we have representation of the minority shareholders. Thank you very much. Let me stop here so that I don't repeat myself.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think we have spent quite a bit of time on these issues. First of all, let me thank you, from the bottom of my heart for all the interest you've shown in the conversations we've had so far, and all the commendations that you've given. The commendations actually should go to the MD and his team. In spite of all the challenging environment that we've been in, they have done an exceptional job. They have done an exceptional job. And therefore, on behalf of the board and yourselves, I'd like to commend the MD and to also ask that you please relay the appreciation to all the team members. The environment is getting extremely harsh, extremely harsh. And therefore, I think it is important for us to taper our expectations. It is getting very, very difficult. Within the last few weeks, exchange rate has moved from around the 500s to now over 720. And most of the inputs that we now use are inputs that come, even for the local materials, they come from overseas. But I know that the MD and his team are doing all they can to minimize the impact. But it is important for us to be aware that the environment is getting extremely difficult. And I do hope that by the grace of God, God will grant us all the wisdom to weather the storm. But I cannot overemphasize that we are going through a rather difficult time in the country. Thank you. Yeah, all the comments that have been made, I think we'll deal with them, but I just need to touch on one or two, just to reassure you. There was a comment about the debtors profile. If you look at the rate at which this business has grown over the last few years, and you relate it to the level of debt, you can see that indeed it's under control. A number of the impairments that you see date back a long time, but the quality of the debtors book at the moment, I can assure you, is really good. We also, there was some comment about the Nexum Fidelity on page 71, moving from about 150 to 400 million. it is important to understand that that's only the current part of the overall debt. Over time, when you now have to reclassify, it's a classification of the current part of the debt. That is why it went up. It's not because we had any significant increase. It was just a reclassification of the loans. And you could also see that a lot of work is being done by the management team to change the profile of the debt of this business, to make it much longer, to match the debt with the fixed assets, and to ensure that as much as possible we have adequate cover. And the profile of the debt also shows a large part of them being switching from expensive debts to low debt. It's a very deliberate policy that the management team has been working on. And we hope that with time, as the business grows, in fact, you'll see a significant reduction in the debts in the future, so that we can use a lot more of our own money to fund the operations. I would leave it at that, but I can assure you that all the comments that have been made have been recorded, and as a board, we'll work with the management team to ensure that they are adequately addressed. Thank you so much for your interest. Item number 2 on the agenda is the declaration of dividend. I hereby move that the dividend of 50 kobo per 50 kobo ordinary share, recommended by the directors and amounting to a total of 1,043,180,125 naira, be and is hereby approved. Will a shareholder please rise and second the motion? Yeah, yes. Please, let. Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Duye. Thank you very much. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising the admission cards in their right hands? Yes. Thank you. Will anyone objecting to this motion please signify by raising his or her admission card? Okay. The registrars should please announce the result. Registrars.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the resolution to declare a dividend, we have 451 shareholders voting, including those that are seated here, having 958,630,116 units of Fidson shares. They all voted for the resolution. There was no vote against, and there is no abstention as displayed on the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I declare the motion carried. The next item on the agenda is the re-election of directors. Item number 3 on the agenda, as I said, is the re-election of directors. 3 directors, namely Mrs. Olufunmilola O. Ayebe, Mr. Olubenga Olaye, and I are to be considered for re-election following our retirement by rotation. Because I'm involved, I would like the managing director to handle the business. MD.
All right. Thank you very much. I will take the directors that are retiring by rotation and that have presented themselves, for re-election one by one. I hereby move that Mrs. Olufunlola O. Ayebe be re-elected a director of the company. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Godwin, Mr. Godwin Ede, thank you very much. Will all those in favor of the motion please signify by raising their admission cards? All right, will anyone objecting to the motion please signify by raising up their admission cards? All right, Registrar, can you please give us feedback on the votes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the resolution to re-elect Mrs. Olufunlola Ayebe as a director, we have 451 shareholders voting, having 958,630,116 units of Fidson shares. The resolution received 100% vote. There is no vote against and there is no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I then say the motion is declared unanimously or carried unanimously? Thank you. All right, the next director in this list is Mr. Olubenga Olayeye. He's not here, as you know. He's on the screen. He also retires by rotation and has offered himself for re-election. His profile can be seen, in the annual report. I hereby move that Mr. Olayeye be re-elected a director of the company. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Sorry, I'm a little blinded by the light, but I can see Mr. Owolabi there. Owoblo. Thank you very much, Pastor. God bless you. Will somebody please second the motion? Please, is Indibo of Abuja. Thank you very much, Chief. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising their admission cards? Thank you. Will anyone objecting to the motion please signify by raising up your admission cards? Thank you. Registrar, can you feed us back on the result of
Thank you, Mr.
this vote?
Chairman. For the resolution to re-elect Mr. Olubenga Olayeye, we have 451 shareholders voting. This resolution received 100% vote. There is no vote against and there is no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I declare the motion unanimously carried. Thank you. The third and the final, the real board, chairman of the board, is Mr. Segun Adebanji. If you permit, the chairman will be seated while I conduct, the election. His profile is also reflected in our annual reports, and a lot of you know him as way back as the 70s, the 80s, on several boards. I hereby move that Mr. Segun Adebanji, who is aged over 70 years, as indicated, but he doesn't look it like you said. As indicated in notice conveying the meeting, be re-elected as a director of the company. Will someone please rise to second the motion? Okay, Honorable.
I so do.
Is Ndibo second? Okay, may the lady at the back please rise to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Adrotoye Abose, the representative personal. I second the motion.
Thank you very much, Madam. Thank you, Madam. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising their admission cards? And can those that are against also do the same thing? Thank you very much. Registrar, can you please read out the results of the proxy votes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the resolution to re-elect Mr. Olusegun Adebanji as the director, we received 451 shareholders votes. The resolution received 100% vote. There was no vote against, and there is no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I therefore declare the motion unanimously carried, and I will hand over to the chairman to carry on. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for the privilege.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Right. Item number 4 on the agenda is to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors. The auditors, Messrs. Deloitte and Touche, have acted as auditors to our satisfaction since their appointment. Under Section 401 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, the retiring auditors are reappointed without any resolution being passed. Section 408, subsection 1B of the Act requires that their remuneration be fixed by the company in general meeting or in such manner as the company in general meeting may determine. I hereby move that the directors be and are hereby authorized to fix the remuneration of the auditors for the financial year ending 31st December 2022. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Yes. Mr. Boniface. Yeah.
You spoke to let those people down.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second that motion because they have done well. Let them carry go.
Thank you. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising up their admission cards in the right hand? Will anyone objecting to this motion please signify by raising his or her admission card in his or her right hand? Registrars, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the resolution to authorize the directors to fix the remuneration of the auditors, we have 451 shareholders voting. The resolution received a 100% vote. There was no vote against, and there is no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I therefore declare the motion carried unanimously. Item number 5 on the agenda is the disclosure of managers' remuneration. I hereby disclose that the remuneration of the managers of the company for the year ended 31st December 2021 was 421,087,000 naira, as shown on page 70, I believe 78, yes. Item number 6, the election of members of Audit Committee. In accordance with Section 404, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, our Audit Committee consists of 3 representatives of the shareholders and 2 directors. The directors have elected their representatives, and they are Mrs. O.O. Ayebe and Mr. E.E. Mwagene. You are to elect 3 representatives of the shareholders onto the Audit Committee in accordance with Section 404, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. Accordingly, the Company Secretary received in writing 21 days before the annual general meeting a total of 147 valid nominations. I think the list is quite a lot, but let's... These were... There were a number of... I think we have the list. 140. Before this meeting, a total of 141 nominees withdrew their nominations, leaving only 6. And the 6 are Chief Matthew Akinlade, FCA, Mr. Abdul Kabir Babatunde Sarumi, and Mr. Solomon Sunday Akinsanya. Right. And Mr. Folari Oladipo, Mr. Bakari Y. Adewale, and Mr. Babatunde Ola Dada. Notwithstanding the number of, we will take them one by one. May I now move that Chief Matthew Akinlade be and is hereby re-elected unopposed. Will someone please rise and move the motion? Oh, it's for voting. It's for voting, yes. Okay, let's do it by show of hands. Yes, yes. Yes. And please remember that you can only vote 3 times. Yes. Right, and the second contestant is Mr. Abdul Kabir Babatunde Sarumi. Okay. Then the third is Mr. Solomon Sunday Akisoya. Okay. And then number 4 is Folari Oladipo. Folari Oladipo. Number 5, Bakari Adewale. And then number 6, Babatunde Oladada. Oh, right. So will the registrar please announce the results? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah. The voting results for Chief Matthew Akinlade, 12 votes. Mr. Sarumi Abdul Kabir, 11 votes. Mr. Sunday Akisoya Solomon, 13 votes. Mr. Folarin Oladipo, 0 votes. Bakari Adewale, 0 votes. Babatunde Oladada, 0 votes.
Thank you very much. Consequently, Chief Matthew Akinlade, Mr. Abdul Kabir Babatunde Sarumi, and Mr. Akisoya Sunday Solomon have been duly elected to join the directors, representatives on the audit committee. Congratulations. Congratulations. Sorry? Thank you. Item number 7 on the agenda is to pass a resolution approving the issuance of bonus shares. Okay, so I'll announce the new audit committee. Yes, that's Chief Matthew Akinlade, Mr. Abdul Kabir Babatunde Sarumi, Mr. Akisoya Sunday Solomon, and then Mrs. Ayebe and Mr. E. Imuageni. Thank you. As I said, item number 7 on the agenda is to pass a resolution approving the issuance of bonus shares. I hereby move that in line with the recommendation of the Board of Directors and to comply with the provisions of Section 124 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and Regulation 13 of the Companies Regulations 2021 with respect to the company's unallotted shares, a bonus issue of 1 new ordinary share of 50 kobo for every 10 ordinary shares held as at the close of business on the 8th of July 2022 and totaling 208,636,025 ordinary shares be and are hereby issued to rank pari passu in all respects with the existing ordinary shares of the company. 2, that in furtherance of the above and pursuant to Section 430, subsection 5 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the sum of 104,318,012 naira 50 kobo out of the total balance of 4,933,932,000 naira standing to the credit of the share premium account be and it is hereby applied for the bonus issue. 3, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to allot any outstanding amount of shares after the bonus issue, whether by way of employee share schemes or in any manner as they may deem fit, for consideration that shall be fixed by them. 4, that the directors be and are hereby authorized to do all things necessary to give effect to the allotments with the relevant regulators by way of registration and or listing. Will someone please rise and second the motion? Please, yeah. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Tunde Badmos. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Badmos. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising up their admission cards in their right hands? Right. Will anyone objecting to this motion please signify by raising his or her admission card in his or her right hand? Right. Will the registrars please declare and tell us the results?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the resolution to approve the issuance of bonus shares, we have 451 shareholders voting. The resolution received 100% vote. Voting for the resolution. There is no vote against and there is no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I declare the motion carried unanimously. Item number 8 is the approval of the director's remuneration. Because this item affects me directly, I would like the managing director to conduct the voting on this item. Mr. MD.
Thank you very much, sir. I hereby move that the remuneration of the non-executive directors in respect of financial year ending 31st December 2022 in the sum of 23 million naira be approved. Will someone please rise and second this motion? I will take Mr. Kuku, if you don't mind, Bababado.
Right. Ismail Jimo Kuku is the name. I so do.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kuku. Can somebody please second?
Yes. My name is
Pastor Ponji, thank you very much. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising up their admission cards? And will those that are against do the same? And I can see one hand up. Is that an old hand? Okay, thank you very much. Registrar, can you please provide the results?
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
For the resolution to fix the remuneration of directors, we have 451 shareholders voting. The resolution received 100% vote. There is no vote against and there is no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I declare the motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, MD. Item number 9, which is the last item on the agenda, is the renewal of the mandate on recurrent transactions with related parties. I hereby move that pursuant to Rule 20, subsection 8 of the Rule Book of Nigeria Exchange Limited 2015, Issuers Rule, the general mandate given to the company to enter into recurrent transactions with related parties for the company's day-to-day operations, including, amongst others, the procurement of goods and services on normal commercial terms, be and is hereby renewed. Will someone please second the motion? Thank you, Mr. Olabi. Thank you. Will all those in favor of this motion please signify by raising of their admission cards? All those Will anyone objecting to this motion please signify by raising his or her admission card? None. Registrars, please.
For the resolution to approve recurrent transactions with related parties for the company's day-to-day operations, We have 451 shareholders voting. The resolution received 100% vote. There is no vote against and there is no abstention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the business of this year's annual general meeting. On behalf of the board, I thank you for attending this meeting and showing so much interest in your company's affairs. May I call on Mr. Sarumi to please say the closing prayer.
Salut à Nabi Kari. Auzubillahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Arrahmanir rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Amen. We thank Almighty Allah for his guidance, for his successful meeting. We beseech him to continue to be with us, guide us, protect us, and grow us. We commit the board of directors, the managing directors, and other management and other staff of the company to your hand. Continue to be with them, strengthening them. Let the country continue to watch from strength to strength. By the time we meet next year, let's be declaring ₦1 dividend. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I now declare the meeting closed. Right. Can we have the national anthem to close? Thank you so much for coming.
Chairman, welcome on board. Thank you so much. I'm yours.
Honestly, I'm beginning to think this woman may be barren.
Have you ever considered going for a test?
Me, test? For what now?
Just go. Just go and hear what the doctor has to say.
Okay, sir.
Mr. Bayo, the problem is you have low sperm count. But there is a solution.
There are several factors that can cause male infertility. All these factors may lead to low sperm count, poor sperm motility, and poor sperm share. Adizua contains a unique formulation that aids the production of healthy sperm cells, thus improving the chances of fertility. Adizua, the absolute man.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. Yeah, I fit to do anything, you know. I fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. Yeah, see me as a fresh. Now they ask me how will I do it. Like me, I say I still in the way. If you fuck up soul, I'm for liquid. Yeah.
Repair and recover with Astimine.
It's a brand new day, I'm feeling stronger. I fit to do anything, you know. I fit to do my work now. Yesterday was tough, but I don't repair, I don't recover. as I'm fresh. Now they ask me how would I do them. Like me, I say, ask me not the way. You dey for capsule, I'm for liquid, oh yeah. Ask me not the way.
Chris, don't do. Hey, don't do.
Ask me not the way.
No, don't worry, I don't know this side. Don't worry. You sure? It's life. Are you sure?
Now they ask me how would I do them. Ask me not the way. You dey for capsule, I'm for liquid, oh yeah. Ask me not the way. I mean, no, I see that multivitamin, yeah. Ask me not the way. The thing not for people when they do plenty work and plenty waka. Ask me not the way. He go give you energy, appetite for
Repair and recover with Astamin, a blend of amino acids and multivitamins.
Stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension that can come from any event or thought that makes us feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. We are constantly looking at screens on devices such as TVs, laptops, and mobile devices. The light from computers and TV screens can disrupt our sleep patterns. According to many studies, too much That said, we can make a huge difference in our lives if we're mindful.
We are gathered here today for Children's Day. Today is May 27, as we all know. And the last statistics that we have in Nigeria, we know that about 43% of the population of Nigeria are made up of children below the age of 14. That's we have about over 100 million children in Nigeria. From the stables of Fidson PLC, we are gathered here with our main brand, Feed Valley.
constipating, multi-nutrient formula for every woman before conception, during pregnancy, and breastfeeding. Sestra, wellness naturally.